Go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Speedway Review. And boy, do we have a great show and a great episode for you guys tonight. So we're going to be unveiling our first annual NASCAR Draft, and you'll get to know all the rules and everything else to go with it. And, of course, we're all going to be making our picks. Aside of that, we're also going to be talking about the life and career of Dale Sr. and, of course, his accomplishments until, he died at Daytona as well. And tonight, we're also going to be sharing a little bit about Black History Month. And, of course, we're going to be talking about pit crew, one of the pit crew members, Brehanna Daniels. And, Jordan, if you would likely take it away, we would be good.
All right. Hello, Terry. What's up? Thank you for joining us. All right. Owen's joining us. What's up, Owen? Owen is from NASCAR Daily. He will be possibly on MRT in the coming future. But for this,
wait, did you say he's from NASCAR Daily?
Yep, he came on over.
Stick around, kid. I got something for you later.
Yeah.
But as you can, So, all right, let's get this going, guys. As you know, February is Black History Month, and for those of you guys who actually watched Motorsport Race Talk last night, we did an amazing, beautiful segment on Wendell Scott last night. There was some history that some people didn't even know about. So, but tonight's a bit different. This will be about Verona Daniels, who is a pit crew member in NASCAR. Let's get this going. Verona Daniels was born in 1993 or 1994. Doesn't have the exact age in there. That's okay. But she is a part of the first female duo in the pit crew to do pit crew work. Right here, you can see here she is with Verona O'Leary, who works as well as the pit crew for NASCAR Cup Series. I'm not sure exactly which team yet, but just a quick rundown. I got a couple of videos. So Daniels was recruited out of college into NASCAR Drive Strategy program in 2016, where she met Brehanna O'Leary, who I mentioned in that photo just now. Daniels was one of the top 10 selected from around the country to join NASCAR's director of athletic performance. Phil Horton cited her previous athletic experience and exceptional hand speed as key ingredients to her success. She was a basketball star at Norfolk State University, and so in 2017 she was part of the Rev Racing down in North Carolina, and she was part of the Excalibur Pit School in Mooresville, North Carolina. In 2017, she became the first African American woman to go over the wall in the National Racing Series in ARCA's race at Fairground Speedway in Nashville, Tennessee. And as her career progressed, she became the first Black woman in 2017 to work a pit crew in the National NASCAR Cup Series at Daytona for the Coke 0400 annual race at Daytona Speedway, and later the NASCAR Cup Series. She and O'Leary made history as the first female duo to work a pit, and that was for Rick Rare Racing, changing tires for Ray Black Jr. Daniels participated in the Cup race under 2 years before she began her training. She pitted the Daytona 500 qualifying race and raced itself in 2019, which also became history as well. She competed in Dwayne The Rock Johnson's reality competition show Titan Games. So in 2020, she was honored in the NASCAR Drive for Diversity Awards on October 8th, where she received the Crew Member Award. So she's been making history. She continues to make history. Okay, Chris. We'll get you voted in for Peoples next year.
Thank you very much.
So here's just a little brief interview on Verona Daniels.
My name is Brehanna Daniels, and I am proud to be the first Black woman to be a part of the NASCAR pit crew. When somebody told me about NASCAR, I was like, girl, what you telling me for? I don't watch that. I think what made them pick me, just them seeing that this is a woman who's actually wanted to do this, even though I heard that women don't make it. I'm like, don't tell me that, because Brehanna Daniels is Brehanna Daniels, and I'm gonna make something shake at the end of the day. So
on to the other side. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get it, Brehanna. Get it, girl. Yeah. See that? That's a pit stop right there. Okay.
It's really dangerous. We can get ran over by a car, we can catch on fire, just stuff that everyday people aren't doing. We really need more minorities in sport. Just having NASCAR as multiple faces and not just one. seeing me pave a way for other little black boys and black girls that look like me, and just parents messaging me saying that my daughter and my son really look up to you, and they send me pictures of them changing tires. It warms my heart.
So, and I have a couple of comments on my main page. Justin, she actually did not pit for Denny Hamlin. She pitted for Rick Rowe Racing the last couple of years on the 53 team for Josh Galecki.
All right.
And so, thoughts on Brehanna Daniels?
I love the fact that they're recruiting out of college like a football team does, or baseball or basketball. And I know this has been going on for a few years. There's been a couple of college football players that may not have made the cut in the NFL draft or in smaller football leagues and end up going to NASCAR and being pit crews, and they're trained as if you would take, a teenager off the street and say, this is how you make the Big Mac. This is how you make the quarter pounder. They're telling them, this is how you do the tire. This is how you do the gas. If you want to be the jackman, this is how you do that. And they train them like they would any other sport anywhere on earth. The fact that they're now diversifying not only into women, but people of color. I hate to say the word minority, but to me, everybody's a person. So I don't like that word. And then I'll go into another statement I'm going to make after Corey makes his dissertation of this. I think it's wonderful. I think Brehanna is a fantastic addition to the NASCAR family, and I wish her all the best of luck, and hopefully she can find her way onto one of the big money teams.
Alrighty.
So to actually kind of fit you on that, Chris. So with the addition of Rick Rowe Racing, shutting down two of the teams she actually worked for Rick Rowe Racing. I believe she's going to work. I think she's going to be working for a bigger team this year. I'm not sure, but a few years ago, I think it was like last year or 2020, she had like a little interview on the Today Show. I do have that footage. If you guys want me to play it, I will. If not, we'll just move on to the next thing. It's up to you guys.
Sure, go ahead.
So,
yeah, go for it.
All right.
Race car drivers are known for their speed, focus, and fearlessness. But when the car stops, it's the pit crew that takes on that danger. Verona Daniels knows just how risky the job can be.
5 lug nuts, 5 off, 5 on.
She has just 15 seconds to change 2 tires under intense pressure.
Be patient, be calm, focus.
As NASCAR's first female African-American pit crew member, the 24-year-old is changing more than just tires. She's also changing the face of a sport where the athletes and audience skew white and male.
I feel like a hero. Like, I really am paving the way for others. And, just them seeing me do it, it makes them, want to be a part of something, too, like this.
Brehanna's race to NASCAR history started 2 years ago when the lifelong athlete was finishing her senior year at Norfolk State University. Right before graduation, she was approached by a recruiter for NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program in an attempt to attract minorities and females to the sport.
And I was like, NASCAR pit crew, like, what is that?
Despite having never seen a NASCAR race or even changed a tire, Brehanna decided to try out. She was the only girl who showed up, which worried Coach Phil Horton.
Oh, good job. I'm looking for athletes to come in, be bigger, stronger, faster, to be pit crewmen. And when she came in, I was like, no way, not gonna happen.
So you walk into the room, you see a group of guys. They probably think they're about to just make this happen, don't they?
Right.
What happened?
Crushed them, and I had that dog in me that day. And I saw these guys, I'm like, I got something to prove.
Brehanna made the team and began grueling 2-a-day practices where she learned the intense and sometimes scary process of changing a race car tire, which I found out was as difficult as it looks.
You wanna try it?
Sure.
All right. You start hitting when the jack man moves.
Wait, hold on, wait, what?
We're ready.
I have no idea what's gonna happen. I feel like something's gonna blow.
Hold up. Okay. Good job. You got
See
one. Okay.
You see one?
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Everybody see that?
And with Brehanna's coaching, I got a little better.
All right. All right. There's the time. 51 seconds.
Oh.
That ain't bad.
Oh my gosh.
It ain't good, but it ain't bad.
After months of hard work, Brehanna was invited to pit her first race, inspiring fans before she even got on the track.
I went over to the bathroom to start changing, and there was a lady in the mirror, like, doing her makeup. She sees me putting on my fire suit, And she looks over at me. She's like, "Are you a driver?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a tire changer." And she's like, "Oh my God." And, she comes over to me. She hugs me so tight. She's like, "Thank you." I knew from that day that I was going to make a huge impact,
Since then, Brehanna has pitted in 16 NASCAR National Series races. With each race, she's shattering stereotypes and cheering on girls just like her.
And what would you say to young girls watching?
Don't think about the naysayers, what anybody negative has to say. If you find it in your heart that you want to do something, you go ahead and do that. I don't care if you're blue, red, orange, yellow, just do the thing.
So here's a ovation to Verona Daniels, and also as you can see right here, this is some Verona Daniels merchandise. You can find it on Instagram, and her Instagram, I'm gonna plug this for anybody who wants any of her merchandise. It is. Come on, phone, don't be slow on me today.
You sure are taking your sweet time.
Chris, it happens.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on with you two? None of your damn business.
Okay, Daniels merch. I got this, y'all. I've done this plenty of times. So it will be it'll be @Bree_apparel on Instagram.
All right.
So you guys want to check that out. And if you guys want, she is actually in a show on Hulu called Your Attention Please, which is streaming live now. She is in season 3. So that is now up on Hulu if you guys want to check that out as well. It's a nice little piece on her. So I might check it out at some point. But yeah, making history. She's going to continue to make history.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, I got to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty
and
cool.
She was actually a few months back when Bubba Wallace won that Talladega, she appeared on Motorsports Race Talk for the very first time that Tuesday. It took me 6.5 months to try and get her on MRT. And John Vandal got her on the show for me. So
awesome.
Nice job.
Yep. And Tori said he'll be on here shortly.
All right.
Looking forward to seeing him.
I guess.
Alrighty. So, I guess we're ready to move on to the next topic, I guess, if everybody's all ready. All right.
You're the man.
Yes. This has been a while, so just bear with me. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about the life and career of Dale Earnhardt Sr. And of course, he is a 7-time Cup Series champion. He's won 76 races. And of course, he did win the Daytona 500 back in 1998. His only Daytona 500 win. He was also the Rookie of the Year award winner back in 1979. And 1 year later, he ended up winning the championship. And not only that, when you talk about Dale Earnhardt, I mean, this was a guy that basically he was an 8th grade dropout. And then he goes, works at the mill and then does a lot of racing in his spare time. And then, of course, he worked his way up, raced in the Cup Series for so many years until he decided, until he ended up being one of the best and the most aggressive drivers there was. And then it wasn't until he paired with Richard Childress, that was when the success really finally happened. And then from there on out, they ended up winning races and championships and a Daytona 500. And of course, not only that, Dale Earnhardt pretty much brought NASCAR to its popularity to what it is. I wouldn't say like to where it is now, but probably like to where it was like in the late 90s to like the 2000s. But a lot of things I can say about Dale Sr., but he was just he was one of those guys that, when he was in that race car, and of course when he was on the track, you did not want to be in his way. It was either he was going to root you out of the way or, you just had to race him. So.
Yeah, having watched Dale Earnhardt through most of not only his Cup career, but most of my racing life, it's hard to believe it's been 21 years that, this coming February that, Senior's been gone. But again, like you said, if you're a fan of anybody other than Dale Earnhardt and you were watching those races back then, I'm sorry, what does that say?
Fired of my knowledge.
Oh, well, you're fired anyway. So,
like Shane McMahon was by his own dad.
Yeah, right. That just happened earlier today. But if you were a fan of anybody but Dale Earnhardt Sr. and your guy was in the lead and you saw that 3-car creeping, you knew one of two things was going to happen. Your guy was going to win. It was going to be a battle to the death, or he was going to punt you and he was going to win the race. And that happened on more than one occasion. Jordan's going to fire up some video pretty soon, but I want to give you the tail of the tape real quick. Ralph Dale Earnhardt was born April 29th, 1951 in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Stayed there most of his life. In fact, his estate is in Kannapolis. And I think it's cool that he stayed in his home state, in his hometown for the majority of his life. I'm going to rattle off the years, but he's a 7-time Cup champion in 1980, 1986, 87, 90, 91, 93, and 94. He's tied with Richard Petty and Jimmy Johnson for the most Cup Series championships. In 1990, 1995, 1999, and 2000, he was the IROC Series champion. 1998 Daytona 500 winner. 1995 Brickyard 400 winner. 87, 88, and 89, he won the Southern 500. In 86, 92, and 93, he won the Coke 600. In 1990, 94, and 99, he won the Winston 500. In 1987, 1990, and 1993, he won the Winston, which is now known as the All-Star Race. He led the Winston Cup Series in wins in both 1987 and 1990. He led the Winston Cup Series in poles also in 1990. He was the 1979 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year, the 2001 posthumous choice for Winston Cup Series most popular driver, and I have a little something to say about that after. He was named one of NASCAR's 50 greatest drivers, and I don't think that's changed. In 2002, after his death, he was a Motorsports Hall of Fame inductee. In 2006, he was voted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame, and in 2010, in the inaugural class, he was voted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Over 676 races run over 27 years. He finished first in the standings. Obviously, we talked about 7 times. His first race was the 1975 World 600 in Charlotte. Unfortunately, his last race was the 2001 Daytona 500 in Daytona, obviously. His first win was the 1979 Southeastern 500 in Bristol. His last win came in 2000 at the Winston 500. 76 wins, 428 top 10s, 22 poles, and may I add, he had 21 wins, 75 top 10s, and 7 poles on what is now known as the Xfinity Series. Not bad.
No.
Oh, look, I didn't say he was the first to win the Brickyard, Owen. You guys sit back.
He won the Brickyard 400 in 1995.
He was the second man.
Yep.
Who was first place in the first race? The guy we talked about a couple weeks ago, Jeff Gordon.
Yep.
Rainbow Warrior, baby.
Jordan, if you ever make that face again, you will be fired.
All right.
I can't do it justice. There's not much I can say that anybody else hasn't said already about the career of Dale Earnhardt. And again, as much as I was not a fan, you can see here, I was a big Rusty Wallace guy.
Right.
You had the respect for him. And, people would say, oh, God, I hate Dale Earnhardt. I was one of those guys that said that. But, when he would win, especially, say, the 98 Daytona 500, you smiled.
Yeah.
You knew that, that meant a lot to him. Watching him win his 7th Winston Cup in 1994 and thinking he was going to win like 3, 4, 5 more, little did he know that the sport was going to change dramatically, not only in the way the car style was, but in the influx of youth, notwithstanding Jeff Gordon being the king of that movement.
Right.
I think if things had gone a little differently, he might have won an 8th or 9th championship. But as the sport moved, Dale was very old school and old fashioned, open-faced helmet, goggles.
Yeah.
When technology moved in one direction, he wanted to go old school. Still won, still had a fantastic, wonderful, legendary career. But to think what could have happened if his mentality and his team moved with the times as the other teams did, we might be talking about 10-time Cup champion Dale Earnhardt.
I guess you could probably say that. I guess you could probably say that.
I did say that.
But no, I just look at his career-wise, and of course, you look at you look at after 94, I think the only times he came close to winning the championship was pretty much 95 and then, of course, 2000. But those ones, he pretty much lost the championship, I think, by like 120-something points or whatever. So that part didn't even really matter. But you talk about safety. You know, Dale Earnhardt was one of those guys that, you know, that didn't believe in anything and like safety-wise and so forth. And, of course, you know, if you saw like inside the car, you know, his seat was basically like a bus seat, you know, compared to all the other seats that, you know, the drivers, you know, they have today. And of course the compartments, you know, they're a lot different than what his was and so forth. So, and I also look at, you know, the day that he died, and honestly, like, I've probably seen the accident like maybe like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And there was actually a quote that Kyle Petty said on the E60 Dale Earnhardt special. I think it was like last year or something. If you ever hear this quote, this is what he said. It's the crashes that don't look bad versus the crashes that look bad don't look bad. And you look at Dale Earnhardt's crash, you know, I've seen it so many times, and it looks like it wasn't even a bad crash, but then like what happened afterwards, then you pretty much tell that, oh shit, this is pretty bad, you know. Even the doctor, you know, who was the guy at Daytona, he even said it best. He said, when I took one look in the car, immediately I knew this was going to be bad. And of course, when Schrader looked inside the car, he knew that it was going to be bad too.
Right. And going back to what you said, it didn't look like a bad crash. I mean, we were all sitting there, me and my friends, watching the 2001 Daytona 500. And, you know, he shoots up and he hits the wall. And I have been live at races where Earnhardt has crashed harder than that. He's turned over. The car has gone, you know, 360 around and around on its tires and hit everything that wasn't moving, and he walked away.
Yep.
And what gave it away for me was, and again, this is all hindsight, but when Waltrip is cheering his brother on, Daryl, pronouns, pal, Daryl is cheering his brother Mikey to the victory from the booth. He's got tears in his eyes, and the car slides down and the net doesn't drop. And me and my buddy, longtime race fans, are going, has he dropped the net yet? They haven't shown Earnhardt. They haven't shown Earnhardt. And you see Daryl, you know, in tears going, I hope Dale's okay. And at that point, we were just like, okay, race drivers have that sixth sense about things like that. So for Darrell Waltrip to put that out there and be like, yeah, I hope Dale's okay, we kind of knew something was wrong. But little did we know that in just a couple short hours, in the same hospital my grandfather passed in 8 years earlier, that Dale Earnhardt was also passing away or was dead on arrival.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not showing the video, guys. We're not going to show that crash. You've seen it. We've all either watched it, lived through it, or have seen it in later years. If you weren't alive or following the sport in 2001, there's no need to glorify that. I will, for clarity's sake, I asked Jordan for a particular video clip. And as you can see my t-shirt, you know, sometimes sometimes the fiercest rivals are the best of friends. And two of those names are Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. They would kick the snot out of each other on the track. They'd cuss each other in the pits, on the microphone. The race gets over. The haulers are leaving. They're back at their motor coaches, and one knocks on the other one's door and goes, hey, want a beer? And they would just relax and chill. Perhaps one of my favorite rivalries of all time in motorsports. Jordan, if you could show it, Dale Earnhardt versus Rusty Wallace.
So I just got one, but I do want to go back to when he was talking about. Do you guys know where the car that Earnhardt died at Daytona is sitting at right now currently?
Is that in Junior's cemetery?
Nope, it is sitting at the bottom of Lake Lloyd.
Really?
No
Richard
shit.
Just had it destroyed. Yep, he had it destroyed. He didn't want to see it anymore. And also, I was reading up on it, and Ken Schrader, honestly, to this day, I still feel really bad for Ken Schrader.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel worse for Sterling Marlin, who got death threats because he was the push car.
And again, that chassis that was behind that 3 car is currently in the ARCA Menard series.
Yeah.
But
now here's some. But before you run that, since we're talking about the crash, there's enough there. I want to see what Terry has to say. That race made me feel like a jerk. I had a friend who loved Senior. And they did the whole "haha, your guy crashed" a few hours later. Okay, no, I feel your pain, Terry, and
Yeah.
not that day, but anytime Senior crashed, it was a phone call to a particular friend of mine going, "How's your day, asshole?" But not that day, unfortunately. Again, I mentioned earlier that I was not an Earnhardt fan. I may have said I hate Earnhardt on occasion, watching the races, as he lives and breathes. And as much as I hate Earnhardt or hated, I respected the hell out of him. But at no point did I look at a guy like Earnhardt, or Earnhardt fans should not have then, nor should they now, look at Ken Schrader or Sterling Marlin as evil or the devil or responsible. Because if you're someone who thinks that way, do me 3 favors. 1, stop watching racing. You're an asshole. 2, stop watching racing and stop letting your opinion reign as fact, because none of these guys are evil. And 3, drink a gallon of bleach.
Jeez.
Yeah, but Ken Schrader said in an interview, he said I kind of figured he was dead, but I see the car, I could see he was in trouble, and he was like, I knew right then and there it wasn't good for Dale.
Exactly.
But here is, even I could tell this was like that was my first, actually it was my mom's first race she ever watched. It was my first Daytona 500 I had watched in 2 years. It was my first full year of racing. I remember my uncle calling me. He said, hey, you see that? My guy's running in third. After the race, he called me. He said, you know what? It ain't looking good, man. It's not looking good. But here is Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, Bristol.
If anybody earned their nickel tonight, it was Dale Earnhardt. To recap your race tonight, we probably need about 10 minutes to just start your perspective. Difference of opinion between Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt. Exchanging words there. Somebody get down here. The pause. Rusty and Dale are into it. Come on, get down here. Give him some room, guys. Give him some room.
Dale, you're the best!
That, I remember that. But you listen, if you listen to that, you hear Dale say a couple different times, hey, calm down. We'll talk. I'll go over this with you, whatever. And Rusty was hot, and he doesn't hide the fact then or now that he was a bit of a hothead. To watch that now brings me back to, that mid-90s and that Bristol race. Wow. Were they going at it tooth and nail? I swear to God, either one of them probably would have spun their mothers to win that race. And let's be clear. If you're not out there to win, get out. And people can say what they want about guys. Oh, well, he hasn't won anything, or, well, he's not as good as this guy. Put him in like equipment, like the SRX races, and let him run, But unfortunately, NASCAR doesn't work that way. So the rivalry between Earnhardt and Wallace, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all times, right up there with Petty and Pearson, right up there with Yarborough and the Alabama gang. You could put any of the rivalries today, which seem tame in comparison. I drive past the venue every day. That turn 4 always goes through my mind. That's where Dale died. Oh, and I went back to Daytona in 2009, and it was a night race. And when you get in, all the lights are on, but there was this spotlight that would shine on the spot as sort of a remembrance. And you just kind of get taken. It really gets to you in your heart. But going back to the point, to watch those two bump and bang from 1984 till the day of Dale's death, you wouldn't think, watching out loud like we all did from our couches or the stands, that these two were the best of friends. Mm-hmm. You watch the documentaries over the years and you find out, they were peanut butter and jelly, man. They were frickin' frack, and they were, they had each other's backs. And there were certain races where if Dale didn't have the juice, he'd push Rusty, and if Rusty didn't have the juice, he'd push Dale. But what you saw on television, what the announcers gave to you was, oh, there's Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt, and they're battling nose to tail, nose to tail. That's not really what was going on. And in these the two Rusty Wallace documentaries I've seen, he's saying out loud, this was communication between the two teams. Dale would say to Rusty's team, or Rusty would say to Dale's team, we don't have the sauce. We're just going to get behind you, and we'll throw the block. And that, to me, full-time rivals, but lifetime friends.
That I completely agree. But speaking of rivalries at Bristol, we cannot forget the fact that 95 and 99, two of the greatest races that I enjoyed the most. 1999, Earnhardt versus Labonte.
This might be deja vu all over again, but in reverse. And Labonte inside of Earnhardt. He taps him going into the third corner. He gets way down on the apron of the track, coming to the white flag. There's a leader change, and Labonte takes the lead. And meanwhile, Ricky Rudd trying to... Oh, and Earnhardt spins him out. Oh, man. And Tony Stewart is involved in the crash, as is Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin, and several others. Dale Earnhardt takes the checkered flag. And Jimmy Spencer ran second. Wow. Bristol. Earnhardt's 73rd career win. Second win of 99. He won at Talladega. And his 9th Bristol win, 4th at night. Here's the replay. There we see the contact between the 3 and the 5. Terry Labonte stands on the gas, and all these cars getting the smoke. There's Ricky Rudd crashed into him. There's Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin. There we see the contact. Yeah, that's too bad. There will be talk about this one for a long time. Here's a McDonald's winner's circle, Jerry Punch.
Well, Dale Earnhardt climbs out with his 9th victory at Bristol. And Dale, that's what Bristol's all about. Take us through those last couple laps.
Well, we knew we didn't get tires, and I didn't know who got tires behind us. All I knew is I needed to protect that bottom and try to go. And Terry got into me in the middle of 3 and 4, and I was going to get back to him and just rattle him. I wasn't going to wreck him, but I got to him and he turned him around. So didn't mean to really turn around, meant to rattle his cage over.
I didn't mean to wreck him. I just meant to rattle his cage a little bit.
See, when a guy comes out like that, it makes you respect him a little more. I didn't intend to dump him. I just intended to rattle his cage a little bit. Whereas, you have schmucks like Kyle Busch who just says, get out of my way, I'm going to wreck you, I don't care. Or even bigger idiots like Chase Elliott who just, I didn't do anything wrong, when the video clearly shows he did. And if you look at these pictures that Jordan's showing, they were, right close to each other for those final couple laps. And even in the video we just saw, he did not plow through. He barely touched that bumper. It just happened to be enough to turn. And like Terry said, Rubbin's racing. It was just enough to turn him. But I believe him to this day. God rest his soul. I don't think he intended to turn him.
Yeah, I believe it too.
He didn't know you. He didn't bump you. He rubbed you. And Rubbin's son is racing.
I already got one co-host that's obsessed with that movie. Let's not have two.
Yep. Anyways, you talk about rivalries between like Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. My favorite rivalry that goes with it would have to be the Dale Earnhardt Jeff Bodine rivalry. Now that one was pretty much between a guy who was from New York versus one of the Southern guys, and of course back in those days, if you came from, let's say, New York, you were basically considered a Yankee and everything. But there was at one point, I guess, when him him and Jeff Bodine, they touched. I believe Earnhardt was parked, I think, for like 5 laps. And then I think the next day, it was Earnhardt and Bodine. They went to NASCAR's office, and Bill France Jr., they ended up telling the two guys, saying, listen, this is our sport, but you guys cannot mess around on the racetrack like that. And if you guys do it again, we're basically taking you off the track completely. So
a lot of the movie Days of Thunder was based on actually the rivalries between not only Jeff Bodine, but with Tim Richmond.
Yep.
Tim Richmond, who I don't know if we could ever have a full episode on, but wow, what potential.
Honestly, like, if I'm going to just say this, had he not died, Dale Earnhardt wouldn't have won 7 titles.
I could agree with that. And if he did, some of the guys that did win titles, Bill Elliott, Rusty Wallace, Alan Kulwicki, just to name a few, may not have won those titles. It might have been Tim Richmond.
Right. And he was one of those guys that, you know, that kind of just drove the wheels off of that car. And not to mention, like, you know, and a guy that wasn't from the South either. I mean, he was basically from, like, what, Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
he drove the wheels off. He drove the wheels off everything and screwed the wheels off everything else.
Yep. And then another rivalry that comes to mind would be pretty much Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott. Now that one, oh my goodness, that one was fun to watch.
I will do you one better. Obviously, he wins the Cup in '94, and the next year is Jeff Gordon, and he tortured Jeff Gordon for a good solid 2 years. Gave him the nickname of Wonder Boy. Any chance he got to put a bumper to Jeff Gordon, he gave a bumper to Jeff Gordon. I'm going to go to Owens Point.
I mean,
can you bring up Owens Point one more time?
Yeah.
If Davey hadn't died, he probably would. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I believe that. And Davey was another guy, you know, who was a good driver too. And it's just sad that, you know, he lost his life, but in a different accident and so forth. But
right. And I think what makes, you know, again, going back to Dale, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
The thing that makes it more tragic is that he did it doing something he loved. And again, like Jordan brought up earlier, the accident didn't look that bad. Jordan, you've been running back and forth and eating Skittles off screen.
Beast mode.
What are your thoughts on the best rivalry Earnhardt had?
You know, honestly, the Taylor Labonte Dale Earnhardt rivalry, like that's the one I remember the most, and obviously Gordon and Earnhardt. But the one but you know, growing up, I was like, I think it was like '97. I started getting into NASCAR, and like I would follow his former rivalries. Well, Labonte and Earnhardt is one that I actually remember very, very well. So I have to say the Labonte Earnhardt and the Gordon and Earnhardt rivalries right there. Okay, I feel like this, but I'm gonna if Alan Kulwicki hadn't died, I feel like Earnhardt wouldn't have won 7 either. Because he probably
I think Kulwicki could have repeated from '92 to '93.
Yep.
He was that hot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kulwicki died right before, I think right around the time I was born. It was July. Was it July or was it
No,
April?
Davey Allison was July. Alan Kulwicki was April.
Okay,
April.
So yeah. I think Davey Allison died the day before I was born in '92. Because I was born July 14th.
Mom, I don't want to take you for granted anymore.
I can't with you guys anymore.
Anyway,
I was born. I'm like, yeah, I was 23. Move along.
Anyway, I got some more videos. Let's go into the IROC side of Dale Earnhardt's career.
That's why she threw.
Well, I know where this is going.
The field and back in 12th spot. What's that all about, Jerry Punch?
Well, Benny, he elected to go to the back of the pack for 2 reasons. He has never raced competitively at this racetrack. Plus, he got very limited practice this week in an IROC car due to having a split time with his Busch Grand National car across town at Indianapolis Raceway Park. He wanted to go to the back of the pack. Plus, it wouldn't be bad to follow the old man up through the pack.
Greg Moore there in the gray car. Here comes Kenny Breck in the dark blue machine to the extreme inside of the track. Oh, they're 3 wide and they bump through the corner in number 3. And that was Jeff Gordon, that cream color car on the outside that is losing position after position. On board with Bobby Labonte. Up ahead is Greg Moore as they come off corner number 4, about to complete lap number 1.
See, somebody told those guys you can't go 3 wide in these corners, man.
They forgot to tell them that. That's some of that experience we were talking
talking about. If you don't have any, you can do whatever you want to.
There's Bobby Labonte on the inside of Greg Moore. And check out Greg Moore running on the outside instead in front of Bobby Labonte. Now, here comes Labonte back.
Yeah, you can do that across that short chute, but when you get to the turn, second turn or fourth turn, guy on the inside's got a huge advantage.
Eddie Cheever is the pace setter at this point, followed by Jeff Burton. We're watching action back of him. There is Dale Earnhardt in the yellow car on board with him. Up ahead, Mark Martin and Greg Moore.
Moore likes that outside, but really that's not the place to be.
Racing coming off the corner. Mark Martin and Greg Moore almost touch coming off. That may give Earnhardt the advantage. Here comes Jeff Gordon to the extreme inside.
And that dark blue car is Kenny Breck, the Indy 500 champion, as he tries to get by Bobby Labonte.
But oh, hello.
What?
Hello. What? My bad. I'll keep playing.
What in the hell is going on here?
What do you mean?
All I hear is phones ringing and the video stopped, and we're not talking about racing anymore.
No, but I have do you remember when NASCAR went over to a twin-wing Motegi over in Japan?
Absolutely.
Here's Earnhardt.
Who won that race?
Skinner.
The ultimate.
Talking to Todd, getting the car better as we went along, trying to be there at the end to win the race. Bobby's on the same flight I am going home, and it's about a 14-hour ride. He'll be pretty miserable all the way home. I can promise you that.
And will stand center stage in the Waldorf Astoria again this season. And here they come, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr. Ladies and gentlemen, Winston Cup Racing's in great shape.
There's damage to the back of Earnhardt Jr.'s car. You can see the rear bumper there flapping in the breeze, looking back at his father in the 3 car.
You don't think he's just waving to him?
I don't think so.
That's got to be quite an experience for Dad to be watching his kid up in front.
I've never seen Earnhardt more mellow, more human than when his son won that first Grand National.
35-80.
So blown away. Remember that Daytona afternoon in the 300 down there? And he just walked in and gave him a hug and immediately got out of victory lane. It was not Earnhardt Sr.'s victory lane, and he wasn't going to be part of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s party. He just wanted to support him. Bobby Earnhardt Sr. is something.
Bobby Hamilton just behind these two.
Was racing Mike Skinner for the lead. He scuffed the wall with the right side of the car coming off turn number 4. Set up a big cloud of smoke. They're afraid it might have affected the handling on the car just a little bit.
Whoops. And you're going to have a lot of whoops. It is getting cooler. Halfway coming up this time. Halfway on the event. 201 laps will make the distance.
What a year Earnhardt Jr. has had. Turned 24 on October 10th. Won 7.
So I'm gonna answer. So Owen, it was a kart racing event in California. It was the Marlboro 500 that Greg Moore tragically lost his life on October 31st, 1999.
Correct.
Let's.
Any more bits?
Oh, I got them. I got 2 important videos, but I got like one from 1987, and I got one of him and Junior in Victory Lane.
I'm here with Dale Earnhardt after he just won the Die Hard 500.
What's the question, dude?
How was the race?
Well, it was hot, but it was fast.
Yeah. Did you
just like you told me to go.
Yeah. Did you draft a lot?
Yeah, I drafted just like you told me to before the race.
You didn't have to pass to me, did you?
Well, yeah, we had to race them pretty good there and watch our gas mileage there at the end, but we did exactly what you told us and we won the race.
Are you going to give me some money when you get home?
I doubt it. You spent enough down here this week.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
That's pretty awesome.
she was fine. The letters.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You know why? He thought the only way he could have me to himself was by tearing
Wait,
me away
wait a minute. Corey was in the
I don't know.
That's right. Because we
Stop playing porn videos.
Oh my God.
By the way, looking at the surroundings of that racetrack as many times as I've been there, that was Darlington, wasn't it?
Bristol.
What's wrong?
That looked a lot like Darlington. The barn over there on coming out of turn 4.
You know what? It might have been Darlington.
All right.
You know it? Yep. But
that barn's still there to this day.
Oh wow. But I got one more video, and then I have 2 very important videos, okay?
And then we got to get Tori on here because we got business.
Yeah, we got some business to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
I'll get it.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has climbed out of the car, but he sits down. He wasn't feeling well last night in the Busch Grand National race, but boy, he withstood a lot of physical punishment out there tonight. Let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Dale trying to get out of the car and get his breath. Dale, first of all, congratulations on a tremendous, not only tremendous drive, but a tremendous endurance run tonight here at Bristol.
Well, you know, this old race team is awful tough. They get tougher every time we go to the racetrack. Kirk Richard and the guys that did a super job all week. Wrangler Goodrich Chevrolet didn't run bad neither. But, you know, Rusty was awful tough, and he got his lap back. We had a set of tires on it, really didn't suit me, but you know, after a while, he'd run me back down, and he'd run me back down that last time there, and I said, well, I got to change my groove. So I changed my damn groove and we took off. That thing really hooked up there where we was running, and I pulled back away from him, and then last 10 laps, I just breezed, because my head was falling off. I don't know why, but ever since that wreck up in Michigan when Michael Andretti put me in the wall in that IROC race, my neck's been bothering me, and it bothered me tonight, and it usually don't bother me here in Bristol, so that's a bad sign.
Well, when Dale pulled in here, he couldn't even reach up to cut the switch off. That's what he was doing, was trying to ask me to cut the switches off in the car, and we wiped his face off, let him get some breath. Now, you've been ill for the last couple of days, and you were laying down most of the day. There was a question mark whether you'd be able to run at least half of the race tonight, and you made it for 500 laps. You got to be one tough customer.
Well, you know, it's like I said, his race team gets tougher every time I go, and it's hard for me to keep up pace with them. Ain't no lie, but you know, the guys do awful good. I can't thank them enough, and everybody back home is pulling for us. You know, all my family and Kelly, all my family couldn't come up tonight, my daughter Kelly and everybody, but you know, they all pulling for us, and we're working hard, and you know, we'll be back out the farm next week to try to build them chicken houses and do something out there.
The letters. Do you know why he did it?
So,
The only way
20 years it took Dale Earnhardt. 20 years of hard work, 20 years of trying. Finally, in 1998, the ultimate thrill ride came to a miraculous fantasy win.
But Earnhardt has a benefit. There's a slow car up ahead.
And there's trouble coming off of turn 2. Some cars get strangled. It might be this. Whoever gets back to the start-finish line, they'll get the white and the yellow together.
Lake Speed and John Andretti tangle as the leaders head for turn number 3. Andretti and Spencer got together.
This could be the Daytona 500. Bobby Labonte goes to the outside.
Labonte up high. Earnhardt uses the lap car of Rick Mast as a pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. Finally, the most anticipated moment in racing. If John Elway can win the Super Bowl, Dale Earnhardt said he could win the Daytona 500. And if he comes around under caution to complete this final lap, the taste of long-awaited victory will be his. Checkered flag. Dale Earnhardt finally is a champion of the Daytona 500. Look out on pit road. Every man on every crew has come out to the edge of pit lane to congratulate the man who has dominated everything there is to win in this sport, except this race until today. There goes the grass.
Yeah, goodbye.
A smoke show. Like the fellow who drives his Craftsman truck, Ron Hornaday, likes to do when he celebrates a victory. And now look at that throng. Can he get to victory lane from here?
He's going to have a lot of help from a lot of security people to get there, it looks like.
I want to hear what he has to say.
Don't worry. He's won at this racetrack 30 times. He, better than anyone, knows the way to victory lane.
Out of his car and listen to this.
Just for all them race fans and all them people have been saying, Dale, this is your year. Dale, this is your year. And boy, a lot of them said it this year. All the way from Mr. France, all the way down to Todd Parrott and all the guys on the team. The Daytona 500 is ours. We've won it, we've won it, we've won it.
Come in. Wow. The place looks great.
The beautiful thing about all of that, in my opinion, was every crew member on every team lining up to give him a high five on the way down pit road. That shows the respect that Senior had in Cub Motorsports.
Yeah.
And for him to finally get his name on the Harley J. Earl Trophy, just tremendous. And when you look back on it, you know, I watched all those seasons where he had the lead and he was killing it when he cut a tire or he spun out or any number of things that happened to him and the race went to somebody else, sometimes deserving, sometimes Derek Cope, but it was always, you know, much like Rusty Wallace, who never won a Daytona 500, you were like, I don't think Dale's ever going to win this race. And then when he does, it's like, okay, now he can move on. Now he can worry about other things in Cup racing than having to get that particular monkey off his back.
Yeah. I mean, if not, I can pretty much just rank that like probably top 5 in Daytona 500 finish history.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, that would easily be in my top 5.
Yeah. But I mean, to think about it, I mean, it took him like 20 years to win the Daytona 500, 20 years. But my favorite quote in that was when Mike Joy said, if John Elway can win the Super Bowl, Dale can win the Daytona 500. So.
Of course, you know.
And then
Earnhardt, go ahead.
Go ahead.
20 years later, on the exact same day, the 3 car returns to victory lane with Austin Dillon. And Austin Dillon said it best. He feels like Dale was with him on that ride on that last lap.
It's weird to, you know, and I said it before. I thought that they shouldn't retire the number 3. They should retire that stylized 3. But you know, to see that 3 car in 2018 wheeling itself around and winning that race, it was kind of special. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't.
Right. I would say it was too. So, and of course, Eric Almirola almost won that race too. So,
yeah. Well, there's a lot of times somebody woulda, coulda, shoulda, almost, and what have you. And unfortunately, with Dale Earnhardt, when it comes to Daytona, up through and including that race, at least in the Daytona 500, you know, he's won Bud shootouts, he's won the Firecracker back in the day. You know, like they said, he's won 30 times at this track. Unfortunately, up until that day, it was never the granddaddy. Right. And once he got that, again, monkey off his back. Tremendous.
Yep. Not only he was good at Daytona, but also Talladega. Oh my goodness, he was. I mean, that's why he was just one of those guys that, you know, you could basically just see the air. And I mean, I still remember, you know, watching his last win at Talladega when he came from like 27th to 1st in like 5 laps.
Yep.
I don't know how.
One of the things,
but amazing.
You said he could see the air, and I know people have said that over the years, and Earnhardt himself said it while he was alive. I also think that Dale Earnhardt was a guy that could feel his car and didn't overdrive its capabilities. If he was a little loose somewhere, he would adjust and make the right moves to keep his car fast, but also to keep himself in contention at the end of these races. You never, or at least I can say, I never saw Dale Earnhardt overdrive the car.
Right.
Teresa designed that 3. I'm glad that Childress owns a trademark, or we'd never see that style of 3. Good point on that. I want to throw out that Teresa Earnhardt is a gold digging whore and should never see the light of day again. Thank you. Drive through. All right. I don't know where Tori is, but we have a draft to do soon. Jordan, do you have any more videos while I try to chase him down a little bit more?
Yeah, I can play his last win. I can play his last win real quick.
Go for it.
All right, rock and roll.
Maybe this is something.
Folks, the last time we had this many different leaders, we saw a first-time winner. Whoa!
He is on the grass. He really was on the grass, folks. And he don't have mud tires. He was,
wow. At 190 miles per hour, he was on the grass in the backstretch.
Earnhardt trying to come up through the middle, and Skinner has taken the lead.
Through a minefield of race cars at 190 miles an hour, and here comes Earnhardt.
How did he get through all these cars? I don't understand how he did that.
The Intimidator is scraped and beat on the right side, but he will not be denied.
Richard Tunis, both his cars running 1-2 as he comes for the white flag. Oh, Earnhardt loose. They were shooting it out on the inside, but he's getting it back in. He's on the apron of the racetrack, Ned.
And Earnhardt Jr., he saves a race car up almost against Bobby Labonte. The no-ball 5 contender, Mr. Restricted Place, Dale Earnhardt comes down and will take his 10th career victory at Talladega.
One that says when and how I go.
Tori.
So,
Tori.
will you help me?
Tori Jones, where are you?
Roy was the first one I went to. I couldn't do
Jordan better be
it. With marshmallow.
calling him on the
I
phone.
need something cold and heartless.
Owen said, "Great show, guys."
And that's me.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely. So where, oh where, is Tori Calhoun?
Where is he anyway?
I think he's busy at work.
I don't want to die alone, Bree.
Anyway, I'm ready.
Yakimo's just kicking my
Well, we can't draft 4 teams with 3 draftees.
Right. That's the problem. So
Kind of defeats the point just a little bit. However, if we want to do next Wednesday the review of the Clash in LA, and then when we're done draft, what I'm going to do right now, since Tori has deemed making margaritas more important than this, I am going to shake up the hat, and this is going to be the draft order.
Okay.
Drafting first in the first ever Speedway Review draft.
Oh my God.
Of course, Tori will draft number 1. And he will name his team. He says he's busy at the bar. I don't believe him.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
All right. And I'll lay down the rules for the viewers in just a minute. Drafting second. Will be me.
Yep.
I will tell you right now, I had 3 or 4 different names in my head. I had GFYS Racing, which stands for Go Fuck Yourself. I had CMMS Racing, which was Cletus McMahon Motorsports. But I think I'm going to go with YSMFO Racing, which means you, sir, may fuck off.
Yep.
Because I'm kicking all your asses this year. Here we go. Whoop. Where the fuck did it go?
Hello.
Why don't I just open this one and I'll know who fell on the ground. Drafting third will be none other than Corey Huffnagel. Corey, what is your team name?
Alrighty, my team name, and I kind of did this one as a little good one, but my team name is going to be Statboy Express 765.
Statboy Express.
Yep.
765. Why 765?
That's favorite number. Well, one of my favorite numbers. It's
okay. A lot of people have number 7 or number 19 or something else. 765 doesn't sound like anybody's favorite number.
All right.
I'm just throwing it out there.
It's basically okay. So it's basically one of the train numbers 765. So think of it as like Stat Boy Express. Like an express train almost.
Okay, and drafting fourth.
Ooh,
Jordan. Jordan, what is your team name?
It is 1422 Racing.
1422 Racing. What's behind the name?
Well, 1422, 14 is mine, my daughter Grace, and my wife Taylor, and my wedding anniversary's number and our birthday numbers. And 22 is for my youngest daughter Mercy's birthday of the 22nd. So that's how I came up with 1422.
Excellent. Okay, so for those of you watching at home, here's how, once Tori either joins us tonight or we do this next week, it's going to break down like this. 4 rounds. We're each going to draft a team of 4. Now, I've tinkered with how we're going to do this, but I think we're going to go the way I explained it to the boys. The first pick in the draft is going to be a driver that finished the regular season between position 1 and position 10. I have the rankings right here in front of me, and I will have that next week as well if Tori doesn't join us tonight. Your second pick will have to have finished between positions 11 and 20 in the 2021 season. Your third pick is going to be 21 and beyond based on their finish in the 2021 season. Now, I'm throwing this out there because there were some guys that are going to be on the Cup Series that ran a race or 2 or 3 and didn't quite do so well, but they're on this list. So you can pick them. And then the fourth pick, which is the wild card pick, the free pick, you could go back, and if somebody didn't draft, say, Brad Keselowski, you can draft Brad Keselowski. If you want to draft Austin Cindric because he's a new guy up-and-comer, you draft Austin Cindric. The free pick is any eligible driver that is going to run a full-time schedule on the Cup Series in 2022. Now, after the 9th race, the 18th race, and the 27th race, I am going to throw it out there to the audience, to you guys that are playing. All right, are you dropping a driver and picking up a new driver? What's the caveat for that? So I'm going to use Corey as an example. Corey, if you were to take, say, Harrison Burton.
Yep.
And Harrison Burton is currently running 19th, but you don't like it. You just need a little boost. You basically have to take a guy that's eligible between 11 and 20 because your guy is running 19th. However, if somebody gets into trouble, let's say in an extreme circumstance before the 9th, 18th, or 27th race, like let's say Kyle Busch gets fired. Let that happen. You need a new driver. You find out which bracket he's in, and you draft a new guy from that top 10 based on this year's standings.
Yeah.
So we will all have 3 opportunities to add and drop, but only during that, say after the 9th race, you can only drop 1 and add 1. You can't say, well, I'm dropping these 2 and I'm picking up these 2. No, that's not how it works.
No, you just pick
1 for 1.
Yep.
Exactly. And this is going to be a little more competitive because at the end of each week, I'm going to tally the actual driver points, and you are going to get those points. Here comes a little curveball that you may not know. If in the event, and let's say, Jordan, let's say you draft Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch picks himself up a penalty and loses 50 driver points. Guess who else loses 50 driver points? 1422 Racing. That can go for any one of us because that's your driver.
Yep.
You lose points, but only if they lose driver points. If the ownership loses 50 owner points, you don't get dinged. If they lose driver points,
then
you get dinged.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
At the end of the season, the man or one of you 3 who accidentally beats me, the other 3 will get a little link in their Facebook chat. This is the shirt I want. This is the hat I want. Decide amongst yourselves. each one of us with a cap of $30 retail, not counting shipping. Shipping is a different thing. Eat it. You have a $30 limit retail. So if you like a shirt and it says $29.99 and that's the shirt you want, bazinga. That's the shirt you're going to get from one of the guys. So one of us stands to win 3 prizes at the end of the year, and 3 of us stand to lose, I don't know, $38.95.
Yep.
Are we all in agreement with the rules?
I'm in.
All right. So since we are not drafting right now, which kind of, wow, it's killed my thunder, man. I was ready to go.
I was ready too.
Oh, I did all my homework. I did all my planning. Oh, killing.
I had my drivers
me.
ready to go.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know what's wrong with you people.
Yeah. But do we have time for the rant?
Well, Jordan, you want to rant? Hit it.
You guys go for it.
I'm gonna let Jordan go first.
And we lost him.
Oh,
and
good.
There he
I'm over it.
Hey.
All right. You guys have the floor. Take it away.
Jordan's gonna start. He's angrier than I am.
Oh boy.
So sorry.
No, I'm over it. Just when people seen it, I was that Motorsport Trace Talk and the Speed Review was doing Black History Month. You know, people started having a bitch fit that they're tired of racism and stuff, race being brought into racing. And I'm like, you know what? How about you just shut up and just enjoy the damn sport you love? Oh, and also another thing, there will be no politics sponsorships in NASCAR this year. I'm okay with that. But people just need to be like, just need to stuff like, if you got an opinion, just keep it to yourself. Don't piss everybody else off.
Exactly.
All right, in the rant. I'm done.
All right, I'm not. If we're going to talk about people injecting their opinions and thinking that it's truth, and then when you put a fact on the table, they run away like a scalded dog. I have to say that, Owen, I hope you're still here. NASCAR Daily has got to be the worst NASCAR community in the history of the Facebook NASCAR family.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who runs it is a schmuck. He is opinionated. He treats his opinion as fact. If he doesn't like somebody, whether it's racing or football or whatever, they are labeled as evil. Doesn't matter. This guy could cure cancer. He would probably come out and say, well, what about AIDS? Okay, I get it. You're passionate. I like passion. What I don't like is someone telling me that I'm toxic when it was that person that got kicked off of this very show who tried to claim it as his own very show, who had to drive a wedge between Corey and myself and tried to basically take over and basically didn't do the job he was signed on to do. The job that Jordan does 1,000% better.
Mm.
If you are that big of a punk that you have to hit a dirty delete and cut and run because somebody doesn't agree with you and is bringing facts to the table, allow me to give you a word of advice from a podcaster named Ben Shapiro. Facts do not care about your feelings. So if that's what you want to do, you want to talk about your feelings and how, hey, look, the Cletus character, it's all based on him. It's all based on Fatty McFingerbang or Man Boobs McGee, whatever you want to call him. And if he ever has the balls to look me in the eye right here on this little screen, because I'm not wasting my time in going to fucking Miami, Florida. Why? If I'm going to go to Miami, Florida, I'm going to go buy a bunch of cocaine and bang a bunch of strippers. I'm not going to go down there for his dumb frumpy ass. But if you ever want to bring facts to the table, kid, I'm right here. This is the same guy that said to me some months ago, you're the best co-host I ever worked with. You know why? Because I bring facts to the table. When I give my opinion, it is always prefaced with, in my opinion. When he jumps on somebody online and says, oh, why are you crapping all over this idea? I love it. And I bring the fact to the table. Well, this is coming from the guy that shits on everything. Yeah, you kind of see what we're dealing with here. So, Tubby McWonderfuck, if you ever want to have a debate, bring facts, bring your best, but it's not going to matter. One thing you might want to do, bring a shovel, because I am going to bury you. My name is Chris Burns, and I approve this message.
All right.
Corey, thanks again for hosting. Because I was too pissed off to do it tonight.
Appreciate it. No problem.
And while we're watching Miss Mercy have a little bit of a snacky snack right here, Jordan, you got anything to add?
Just real quick before I sign off, because
Don't you piss off that baby.
No. So, for those of you who wants to have your name sponsored on a car, please follow Josh White on Facebook. 20 names get your name on car. 250 get your name on car pit pass and picture with car. 500 the ultimate fan experience, get your name on car pit pass lunch with team. A picture with Josh team and the car motorsport race talk will be on that car in Bristol in September. So I hope you guys can help him out with some fan sponsorship. These are the races that he is in. May 27th at Charlotte, August 21st at Springfield Mile, and of course September 15th at Bristol. So please follow him on Facebook, Josh White Racing.
That's fantastic.
And don't
go ahead, please.
And don't miss Motorsports Race Talk next Tuesday, as Bill Lester will be on for a 15-minute segment on Bill Lester for Black History Month. And NASCAR Xfinity Series driver Shane Lee will join us next week. And we will also review the Clash and get ready for Daytona.
One thing I want to say before we go is, as we all know, we did the thing at the top of the program. February is Black History Month, and it is important that we remember those, I got to say it, Black people, because I don't like African American. Not every Black person comes from Africa. It's time we take that bullshit mask off and start just, I just refer to people as people. As much as I love Black History Month, I always have since, I was in school and we learned about Martin Luther King or even Malcolm X or Thurgood Marshall or some of the great people that came before us. I find it in this day and age a little weird that we still have to designate a month for Black History Month. I think Black history, as well as any history, should be taught every day. We should not be teaching our children that certain people are good and certain people are bad, unless, of course, their names are Hitler or Mussolini or Attila the Hun. It's time we shed this freaking skin and start looking at the world as one community. I'm not saying that we have to put, George Washington on, who's way up here. I don't say we move somebody evil. Remember that word. I just said it out loud. Truly evil, like Osama bin Laden or Adolf Hitler, to that level. You look at the good and you look at the bad in everybody. In my opinion, I'm proud to be a part of this show and proud to celebrate Black History Month, but at the same time, I think every day should be Black History Day. I think every day should be Human History Day. And the sooner we teach that to our children and the sooner we as a society do that going forward, the better off we will be.
Yeah.
Jordan's feeding the baby. It's okay. Just nod your head. It's okay. There you go. Good job. Now reach into your wallet and get me $50.
God.
I tried. Anyway, Corey, anything you want to pimp, plug, or otherwise push upon the people?
So before we sign off, we have we got the Clash coming up on Sunday night. Gentlemen, do you have a prediction who's going to win the race on Sunday?
The car that is the least damaged. You know what? I was okay. I'll go with Daniel Suarez. I'm not going to make a pick, and I'll tell you why. New track, new configuration. These guys are really going back to their roots with this race, and I am looking forward to it. I'm excited to see it. What I'm not excited to see is the carnage, and it would be ignorant of me on a track this small with these cars, this next-gen car, to predict a winner. But I'm going to ask you, Corey, to pick a number between 1 and 20 right now.
15.
15. My pick is Eric Almirola. He finished 15th in the standings for 2021, and you picked the number 15. That's my pick because if I try to make an educated guess, I'm going to look like a monkey doing a math problem.
All right. I kind of thought about this one for the last couple of weeks, and I'm gonna say my pick. I'm gonna go with Hamlin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because I figured, he's been good on the short tracks the last couple of years. I mean, he's done good at Martinsville and Richmond. So I figured, it's kind of almost like Bowman Gray Stadium almost, but I have a feeling I think the 11 car is going to be winning Sunday. And again, It's a new track, so we'll just see what happens. So
nice. So not that we're scoring this particular race, however, it is interesting. It is going to be interesting to see. Once we come back next Wednesday, we're going to review what we saw at the Clash. Hopefully, Tori's done with the margaritas. We can actually draft our team before Daytona, and we may take a little dive into Speed Weeks because we've got the dual races, we've got the truck race, we've got the Xfinity race, and guys, for you, the listener or the watcher, who've been with Corey and I for years and years, we're cutting back on the truck and the Xfinity talk. However, we still are going to talk about those races just in shorter form because obviously for Corey and I and in some part Jordan, we all still love it, but my attention is going to be more on the truck series than it ever has been this year with Matt DiBenedetto taking that job with Rackley WAR Racing in that number 25 truck. And Corey, your job is to find out where we can get the gear, man.
Yeah, I mean, I emailed them, I think like about a month ago. They didn't reach back to me if there's going to be any gear or not. So I'm going to keep on trying.
Okay. So you guys, next week we're going to review the Clash. We're going to draft finally our fantasy teams for the year 2022. You know the parameters and any news and notes that come up. If I have to pimp anything, I know Jordan's already pimped Motorsports Race Talk. I would love for you guys to check out Dysfunction Junction on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, anywhere you steal your favorite podcast from. This past Monday night, we recorded a great episode that dropped today called Our Friend the Undertaker. No, it's not what you think. We interviewed our good friend Derek, who happens to be a mortician by trade. And to hear some of these stories, and mortician humor is funnier than you think. It really is. I had a blast. We've done some great episodes. I'd love to have one of these two clowns on the show once to do a goofy little episode, whether it's about racing or wrestling or hockey or what have you. But any promotion is good promotion. So I figured what better place than this? Go find it. And if you like it, share it with your friends. We have a contest going. Go to our Facebook page, Dysfunction Junction Show. Watch the video that features this beautiful mug telling you what the contest is. It ends on April 4th at midnight. So if you listen to the show, you like the show, you share the show, and somebody tells us you shared the show, both you and your friend are entered into the contest. So get on that. It's Dysfunction Junction. Or if you're looking for it on YouTube, Dysfunction Junction Show.
All right.
Good night, Mercy, my old friend. Your dad is feeding you again. And he's shirking his duties to me. Because you're little and you can't feed yourself. And I owe you $1. That's all I got. I can't write lyrics.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, while you're feeding this baby, do you have anything you want to add before we say goodnight?
No, just have a good night, guys, and don't miss Tori and I's new show, Nothing But Talk, live this Monday at 7. Good night, guys.
Cannot wait. Oh, wait. Are you going to be recording every Monday?
No.
Good, because I record Dysfunction Junction on Monday. Feed the baby.
Yeah, feed the baby.
Feed the baby. We'll talk later. Good night, gentlemen. I will see you next week.
All righty. Sounds good.
Peace.